This is the Uptick Newswire Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube to stay up to date on penny stock news and interviews, public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world, with your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a returning guest, and I'm super excited to have him back on the show, and I'll tell you why. Last time they were on the show, it was back in June of 2017. Well, they were trading on the OTC. Now they're trading on the NASDAQ. That's correct, the NASDAQ. And so you could see the company going from the OTC to the NASDAQ. Something's happening. We're talking about no other than BKYI International Inc. They trade on, like I said, the NASDAQ, ticker symbol BKYI. And with us today is the CEO of that company, Michael DePasquale. Mike, welcome to the show.
It's great to be back with you again, Everett. Looking forward to speaking.
You know, we've gotten a lot of new listeners since you came on. We did a big deal with the NASDAQ back in August. Give my listeners a little bit about statement of what you guys do and what you're all about.
Yeah, BioKey is revolutionizing authentication with biometric solutions that enable convenient, secure access to information to secure high-stakes transactions. We fundamentally offer alternatives to passwords and PINs, things that all of us are using, every day to access all kinds of information. We're also providing a line of finger scanners, so hardware to go along with our software. And we recently launched a line of consumer products that incorporates biometric technology as well as Bluetooth technology in padlocks that almost every one of us on the planet has used at some point in their lives or uses today.
Absolutely.
So padlocks that allow you to leave the key or the combination home and simply use your finger or your smartphone to open and close and manage the lock.
I really like your model, and I'll tell you why. I got to remember 30 different passwords, and it's getting crazy. It would be so much easier if I could just put my finger or my thumb on my computer or whatever software I need to get into and say, yeah, it's me.
Well, and that's exactly what we do. We have a suite of software products, what we call our WebKey platform, that allows our enterprise or business customers to be able to augment or replace whatever they're using to authenticate now, whether it's a password, a PIN, a token, a card, or some kind of a key. So we have that already built. Our ID director for Windows, for example, allows those customers to be able to interface finger biometrics to their Active Directory or to the suite of applications that they may be using or their employees may have access to. So we're doing that, and we're doing that for customers in the private and public sector. We recently announced a contract with the Australian Ministry of Interior, where they're doing exactly what I just described. They purchased our finger scanners, our side swipe finger scanners, and our software so that they can replace not only the insecure but the inconvenient passwords that their employees are using to access all of the ministry's portals.
Where can people access these products? Where can we go and find them if we want to buy them?
Well, if you're a consumer and you want to replace the password or PIN that you use to access your device, which is part of the Windows Hello framework, Windows 10, Windows Hello framework, you can go to Amazon and you can find the BioKey products right on Amazon and purchase them individually. They're all for sale at a list price of $39.99. So they're very inexpensive. They're very high quality. And again, anyone can buy them anytime. Our padlocks are also available on Amazon.com, and we have an e-Shopify site set up at the BioKey website, and that's shop.biokey.com. And you can purchase those locks directly through our portal.
I want to change gears here just for a second and talk about some metrics. And correct me if my numbers are wrong. Last year, you guys did around $2.9 million in revenue in 2016. Already the first 3 quarters, you guys are above $3 million. but there seems to be a disconnect in revenues to your stock price. Can you give us a little bit of update of where we're at and where we're going forward here in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned before, we uplisted to the NASDAQ. We did that in the July-August timeframe. In fact, we rang the closing bell in mid-August. And so through that process, our share price had risen to just approximately $3.40 or so. And right now we're trading about half that. I think there are really two dynamics there. I think number one, there was again all the excitement for us with the uplisting. Number two, there's a bit of a misnomer out in the market. Apple announced also in August that they were going to be introducing the iPhone X or iPhone X. And this is the first device for many years that does not have a finger scanner embedded in the device. And so there's a perception that facial recognition or the facial recognition that they're using on the iPhone X only, okay, not on the 8, but only on the 10, is going to replace finger biometrics. And that really is absolutely a misnomer, because the enterprise business that we're very, very focused on will not use facial recognition technology to allow employees to access information, right? They're not going to use the regular camera that comes on a PC. Many desktop devices don't even have a camera associated with them. So finger biometrics is really the gold standard in the enterprise. And so I think there was a little bit of a disconnect there, and I think there was concern that it would be the demise of finger biometric technology, and that's not true. Also, consider being in your car or in the movie theater or on the subway in New York City or any large city, and having to hold the device up to your face in order to unlock it. It's not practical in all of those applications. So Apple was having difficulty getting the finger scanner embedded on the new device. They wanted it under the glass, either in the front or the back, and they just couldn't get it done in time and introduce the facial recognition technology. So I think that also had an impact on our share price. But in any event, our revenue has doubled year over year, and it was always our goal and objective to at least double our revenue year over year and continue to grow and execute. Clearly, the market thermals are right now there for enterprise security. We keep reading every day, every week, about more data breaches and the impact that that has on consumer information that's housed by large corporations. Consumers are fed up, as you said before, with passwords.
Oh, absolutely.
They can't remember them. They can't change them fast enough. Upper, lowercase characters, this, that, whatever. It's just too difficult. And so biometrics is now going to come into its own. We are very well positioned for three reasons. Number one, we've got a great software platform that's been used by some of the largest entities in the world, including the FBI and some large banks and telecommunications companies and so forth. So we've got a really, really good, mature platform. We've got hardware to go along with that. Very cost-effective, cost-efficient. As I said, $39.99 for any one of our selection of finger scanners. Very high quality, ergonomically designed to be convenient for users. We also have a global footprint. We've got 2 offices in Asia now, so we're servicing international markets in a much bigger way than we could have even a year or 2 years ago. So we've got this global footprint for sales, marketing, manufacturing, and distribution. And we've got, again, that combination of hardware and software to provide a full and complete solution for our customers. We've got relationships with the companies like Microsoft. As I mentioned, our finger scanners are innate and native plug and play with Microsoft's Windows 10 and Windows Hello. So, these are the things, the distribution that we're setting up both for our enterprise and our consumer products is going to give us a big advantage going forward.
As you mentioned, global product, you guys over in Japan, China, Australia, British Columbia government, you're doing working with defense contractors. Which other product lines be web key or the ID director represents revenue growth? And what are the opportunities for people that are looking at your stock and over the next 12 to 24 months?
Well, clearly, in the highly regulated industries like banking and healthcare, we see tremendous opportunity going forward. We had made a couple of announcements over the last quarter or so. One was that a very large international bank was deploying 5,000 of our side-touch finger scanners to their employees in an initial order for access to their devices. So in banking and financial services and in healthcare, we see significant growth and opportunity. We see it in the consumer products market. We think the line of padlocks that we have, both fingerprint enabled and Bluetooth enabled, are a wonderful product. Again, reasonably priced, very convenient, secure. We've got a weatherproof model that you can use outside on your shed. We've got a TSA version that can be used on your luggage, where the TSA has a key to open it if they want to get into your luggage so they don't cut the lock off. We've got a designer series that has all kinds of different colors and patterns that are wonderful for kids, that can be used for lockers. So we've got a portfolio and a collection of solutions in that area that we think can provide explosive growth potential for the company going forward.
The company that we're highlighting today here on Stock Day is BioKey International. You've been listening to the CEO of that company, Michael DePasquale. They trade on the NASDAQ, ticker symbol BKYI. Mike, in closing, is there anything that we didn't get a chance to touch upon that you would like to get out there to the listeners?
No, I think, Everett, we've covered almost everything. I'll leave you again with the BioKey advantage, and that is full and complete solution, both hardware and software, and global footprint and distribution, consumer products as well as products for business and enterprise. So I think as we begin to execute, as we begin to grow our business, get more visibility, that growth should increase and should reach much higher levels in the coming years. And so we're enthused about the situation that we're in right now. We're enthused about the market and the uptake that we're getting and the growth that we've seen so far this year.
Well, I want my listeners to take a look at this stock. I believe that you guys are grossly undervalued at $1.55, $1.56, but that's one man's opinion. That's my opinion. Mike, I want to thank you for coming back on the show. It's always a pleasure. Hopefully you'll come back on in 50 or 60 days and give us an update.
I'd love to do that. Thank you very much, Everett.
This program is entirely sponsored and produced by Uptick Newswire, LLC, which is responsible for the content. The opinions and information provided on this program are those of the guests and those of the respective companies they represent, and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Uptick Newswire. Uptick Newswire encourages all listeners of this program to do their due diligence and research when determining investment strategies that will work for them, or to seek the assistance of an investment professional. The guests of this program may have paid for its distribution and are not directly affiliated with Uptick Newswire or this station.